The recent firing of Miami's new police chief is the latest example how politics in the city of Miami can escalate into drama and theater.
And Commissioner Joe Correo is the major actor in the drama down at City Hall. He has been a fixture in Miami politics since he was first elected in 1979 to be a commissioner. He is a veteran of the political chaos in Miami, and some might say the prime instigator of it. He is running for re-election.
Andriana Oliva, a lifelong Miami resident, a business owner working with social services and nonprofits, and Quinn Smith, an attorney in Miami since law school at who is engaged with various civic boards. They are vying for that seat, District 3 Commissioner. We did invite Commissioner Joe Correo to join us, and after some initial contact, he did not respond, and we regret that. We look forward to having him with us. But good afternoon, I should say, to you too, and it's great to meet you and have you here.
It is great to see you both. Thank you for coming. Andriana, tell us more about yourself. I know you are the president of your own company, AO Insight, a communications digital purveyor of services. Tell us what you do.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show this morning. So the AO Insight Group is a digital media agency, and we work predominantly with nonprofits in our community, ranging in social services, community development, arts and culture. And we just love doing what we do. We have an opportunity to give many nonprofits a voice, an opportunity to share their resources, such as free workshops or free access to immigration attorneys and things of that nature. So it's a very fulfilling job. And because of my philanthropic background that I've had for quite some time now, we are also very involved in the community and offer pro bono services, give back wherever we can, and participate wherever we can as well.
Quinn Smith, you are an attorney, an interesting perspective. So let's get into some Miami issues. I'm interested in hearing your perspective on how the police chief was fired. It was almost a month-long process, a lot of drama, a lot of people involved, a lot of accusations on both sides. Give us your sense, if you were a commissioner, how might you have handled that?
Well, first off, it was embarrassing. I hear this from constituents all the time. It was a waste of time. We have so many problems that we have to solve. Spend a month on that. As far as myself as a commissioner, we have an obligation of due diligence before we hire somebody for one of the most important positions in the city. I would hope that I would never find myself in that position. But if I were, then I would be sure to be at the city commission, at the meetings, and advocating for citizens and residents to make their voice heard, which often they weren't, and working to reduce the proceedings and not have them drag on and turn into this circus that drew so much negative attention to the city.
Yeah. Andriana, in fact, let me ask sort of the variation of that question. During that period, which Glenna reported on, I watched, Joe Correo berated over the course of 2 weeks Art Acevedo. He ran a video of him, ridiculed him. Do you think that the commissioner's behavior in that period is appropriate for an elected official in the city of Miami?
Not at all. I think that the purpose of the meeting, at least the first one, was to approve an investigation. And I think that that's why you have the oversight boards and the investigators, and you have them do their job and not waste our taxpayer dollars, our taxpayer resources, our city staff. And so I think the right thing to have done would have been to present all the accumulated evidence that was gathered and submitted to the investigators, and then move through the process that way.
Let me ask you about constituent services, because a lot of people aren't looking at that in the news. That's not what makes the headlines. Joe Correo has been elected and reelected because he is in the community. I've seen him. Say what you will about his demeanor on the dais, but his constituents feel like he is serving them, especially the seniors who live in the subsidized housing. They are the super voters in the city of Miami. I'd like you to address how you would handle, we'll get into some issues as well, but constituent services is what commissioners do. And I'd like to hear from you on that level. Quinn, why don't you go first?
Sure. Thank you, Glenna. So I think it's important to remember exactly who is receiving those constituent services. I can't tell you how many people that I've helped them, fill out their application for rent relief, help them with their food stamps, help them with the basic services that they need. And so I think what is happening is that there is a focus on some voters who are super voters, but there is really a neglect of the majority of, or even more than that, of the constituents that live in the area or in the district. So really the problem is that it's constituent services only for a few, not for everyone. And to me, the way that you address that is that first, you have to bring back our net offices to get those services out into the community. And then second, you have to look at the people that you're hiring so that they can, help to connect our constituents with the services that they need. There are so many people that just don't know where to turn, and they're not getting any feedback from the commissioner's office or anyone to kind of point them in the right direction.
Andriana, do you agree constituent services for some and not for all? How would you handle that?
Definitely. I think Miami-Dade County has over 9,000 nonprofits, right? And we have a ton of them here in our district. And like Quinn as well, I've been connecting people to immigration attorneys, food stamp assistants, you name it, right? And some of them have social workers, or social workers don't also know about these organizations. And I'm big on collaboration and partnership. So I think we need to partner up with more of these organizations, continue to do outreach. Yes, open up the net office again, but we need to be boots on the ground because some people aren't getting visited at all. I met with a senior the other day that's 80 something years old, lives on a third floor of a low income housing apartment building, and they haven't had their elevator working in 5 years. And so whatever the case is, whether it's the building or the city or the county, we need to be able to remedy that because it's not okay for our seniors to be trapped for weeks at end on a third floor without being able to move around. So continuing to work with the community partners can help also alleviate some of the resources from the city of Miami, because you don't know what you don't know, right? So if we're letting them know what resources there are, then they have access to them.
Yeah. Quinn Smith, there is a long history in the city of Miami of some nasty mud flying around in races. I've seen a flyer that is arriving at mailboxes in District 3, in which you are running, that shows you wearing, it's been photoshopped, shows you wearing a red beret, the way that Hugo Chavez of Venezuela used to wear one, accuses you of, quote, taking narco-trafficking director Nicolas Maduro money. What can you say about that flyer?
Well, I can tell you that I've received so far 14 attack mailers. I take that as a sign that the incumbent is very worried about our campaign. I don't represent any individuals. I don't take any money from, Mr. Maduro individually. I represent governments all over the world. So I think that's a typical thing of trying to attack a lawyer for that lawyer's clients. And as lawyers, we have lots of clients, but that doesn't define us who we are as people. And what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing is that the more these attacks go on, the more people want to reach out and talk to me. So just yesterday, I met with a family in Little Havana that wants to go out and canvass on their block for me. And so that's what I'm seeing. And I don't think that these kinds of attacks are going to have the impact that's desired. And it's unfortunate that it seems like every race, devolves into this. And we really need to move on as a community.
I want you to know that this may or may not be your first television interview. It's quick. TV is bam, bam, bam. You get a lot in a little time, and our time is up. But I invite you both, if you win that seat, to be a regular guest on This Week in South Florida so that we can grill you appropriately. And great to have you both on.
Thank you very much.
It would be an honor.
Great
Thank
to see
you.
you today.